Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and today we're going to be reviewing Captain Marvel issue 5. The cover is just boring. It's a mad blotch of color with a little picture of Captain Marvel smashing the ground. Yeah, I guess she's smashing the ground, or she's smashing a lake, and everything's warping around her. It's not cool. It's supposed to be cool, but it's not. It's just a big, mad riot of colors. A big yellow star that you can be seen in the water. She's behind a lake, and there's a lake in front of her, and you can see the down point of the star that is supposed to be her logo, and it's really bad. It's just a bad design and a bad cover. Let's see. Carmen Carnero is the interior artist, and the cover artists are Amanda Conner and Paul Mounts. Well, the cover was just bad, and I wish it was better. And the interior art by Carmen Carnero is, well, it's workable. I mean, here we have Rogue punching out Nuclear Man. Once again, I have to realize that they stole the name Nuclear Man from DC. And she's punching him down. He's no longer such a big, huge giant, where before he was at least 12 feet tall. Well, apparently, Nuclear Man begins to punch Rogue out. He sends her into the ground before he gets attacked from a missile, because their fight had caused both of them to be punched their way out of the Colosseum, out of the fighting Colosseum that Nuclear Man had built. And Rogue has been punched back down into the Colosseum next to Miss Marvel, who still has that stupid SJW haircut. Miss Marvel is regaining her powers and her mind after she had let herself be absorbed into Rogue, which shouldn't happen. Rogue only copies people's memories and takes their powers. So Miss Marvel should not be able to remember being inside Rogue. And here we have them going to team up. Even though she says she doesn't like Rogue at all, both of them are smiling about the wail on Nuclear Man. It seems like they are friends. So the art says differently than what the writer is trying to say. The writer for this, Kelly Thompson, it's just blank. It's just boring. This is so boring. Here we have a fight with Rogue versus Nuclear Man again, and we see Miss Marvel talking with her friends, and all I can say is that they are just being congratulating each other on their plans, and that their fight is nearly over, and I'm just bored with it. Here we see the cuck guy who's been hanging out with them, who's the son of Nuclear Man, along with all the other women here. And I just found out the woman who was actually in the armor, well, the power armor for her arms, is actually Jean Walters, She-Hulk. And she said she doesn't really like being She-Hulk anymore. I can't blame her with what they did to She-Hulk. And it was nice to be able to fight like a pretty woman, like what Jean Walters said, because the only thing distinguishing her from anyone else was those power gloves they put on her, that power armor she used to give her back her Hulk strength. Because apparently Nuclear Man has taken Miss Marvel and all of them to a little island with a power dampening force field around it, so it basically lessens all their powers except for Miss Marvel apparently, and Rogue. Here we see a martial arts girl and another girl with a gun. We see another girl talking to Miss Marvel, saying that are you all right with what happened with Rogue just now? And Miss Marvel says yes. I mean, I'll never be totally fine with Rogue. Apparently, she says, even though she's smiling at Rogue. And I have to say, I'm just oh, come on, just be a little more a better storytelling, Kelly Thompson. This could be so much better. I mean, they're smiling and they're trying to pal around with it. It's just so boring. Well, later we now learn that the guy who's been hanging out with Miss Marvel and her friends, who's the son of Nuclear Man, well, it turns out that he's actually a bomb. His father, Nuclear Man, messed with his biochemistry, and now that he's absorbing energy, Nuclear Man has decided to set off the bomb inside his son Sam's body. He's done this because he obviously knows he's going to lose, or he's getting worried about it. And his son Sam asks Captain Marvel to kill him. He wants to die knowing his friends will live, because he can't live with the fact that they'll die with him if he goes off like a nuclear weapon, knowing that his father most likely will escape. So he's pleading with Captain Marvel to snap his neck, or to just rip out his heart and just end it quickly. While Captain Marvel says, "Don't worry, I'll figure this out." Well, it turns out that Nuclear Man has a force field being generated by one of the heroes here. She can't use her powers because he's using her power to power the force field. And apparently, in some odd way, the force field is connected with his son. So it's somehow a circuit. So Nuclear Man most likely will escape, leaving them all to die, including his son. But they have to figure out some way of breaking the control that Nuclear Man has over the force field. So they do this by having Rogue absorb the power out of Sam. Because knowing that it's most likely a bio or chemical or somehow a magical or superhuman effect, they have Rogue absorb it out of him, thus breaking the circuit, causing the force field around the island to disperse, causing everyone to gain their powers back. Here we can see it happening with Jean Walters reverting back to She-Hulk, while apparently the woman who was dressed in yellow and brown was the one that Nuclear Man had been absorbing the power out of to power his force field. Apparently with a circuit broken, she regains her powers as well. And the artwork here by Carmen Carnero is just run-of-the-mill. I've seen better artwork, and I hate what they've done to She-Hulk. Here we see her about to trounce Nuclear Man. And she flattens him, punching him so hard, blood is coming out of his mouth, and then he goes right into the ground. Where that woman who I mentioned earlier, who he had been using to power his force field, she ends up blasting him, but apparently it doesn't do any good, because he says that he absorbs any and all powers, or at least nuclear powers he wants. Her powers are somehow nuclear, or maybe solar radiation or something. Well, he absorbs it, but before he can actually do anything, Captain Marvel and the rest of them gang up on him, with Captain Marvel first punching him down to the ground before all of the female heroes surround him. And Captain Marvel says, "What, no more jokes? Get up, I dare you." Come on, Kelly Thompson, can't you be a better writer than that? And this is just bad, and I am not enjoying it. And of course, Nuclear Man makes a few snide remarks saying that he will get his revenge before he teleports away like a little wuss. He also takes his son Sam with him for some reason. You know, you were going to kill your son, so why would you care if you take him with you? And this is how this story ends, with all the heroes taking back everyone on the island back to New York. Nuclear Man is defeated, and he takes his son with him. Here we see them back at New York, Captain Marvel and Rogue smiling at each other, saying that even though they'll never be friends, they respect each other, and that Captain Marvel is really impressed with how far Rogue has come to becoming a good hero. And I have to say, this is just boring, and those aren't speech bubbles; they're just speeches. Kelly Thompson here, and just like a lot of modern Marvel writers, just insists on making word balloons that are stuffed to the brim with dialogue. After everything is done, Miss Marvel looks at the newspaper saying, and this is very apt, that Miss Marvel and the world is doomed. We're doomed with this hero. And Miss Marvel says, "Aw, crap." Well, I have to say, I guess they figured out Miss Marvel, huh? Because you see the paper she's reading that's saying that that everyone was doomed, with Miss Marvel's SJW haircut prominently on the cover. It's really good apt metaphor for this entire comic book. Yes, you're all doomed. You're in a Captain Marvel comic book. So I'm sorry, but you'll probably be canceled soon. Well, if you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that bell for notifications, and hit that like button. And remember, keep making comments down below and keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll see you all again soon.